Welcome back to another episode of Bromance. I'm Ryan, and today we had Giancarlo Console on the pod. We first started off with some would you rather questions. We then moved on to questions from me. I will say we got about halfway through with questions from me, then we kind of moved into questions about semi pro. And again, this is a bit of a longer episode, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this up into two. So you'll get the first part right now, and you'll get the second part sometime next week. That's it. Hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah. Gone on you with the pick and roll. Younger flame, he in sicko mode. This here with all the ice on in the booth.
Welcome back to another episode of Bromance. I'm Ryan, and today I got Giancarlo Console
Console. I
on
don't
the
even know,
pod.
honestly. I've heard it too many times. What
How would
up?
you how would you pronounce it?
I just go by console, but like the Italian way is definitely console.
How would you say
But
Giancarlo in an Italian accent?
just Giancarlo. You
Oh,
got a little
Giancarlo
flair.
Console.
Just let me call my grandma up real quick. No, no,
No, nah.
no, no.
Giancarlo, how are we doing today?
I'm good, good. I had a long day at work getting ready for our next season and stuff. So got a nice dodgeball team in like a 2 hour time spent yesterday. So we'll go to 9 teams to our season.
Okay, for your rec league.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, nice. I saw you guys just ended, and Matt Spadone's team won.
No, we just ended and Noah and Tom's team won. Knights won.
Whoops.
It was yeah.
Whoops.
It was Knights versus which is like Noah, Matt Spadone. Now you got me even thinking about Matt's team. It was Noah, Tom Cicilline, Andrew Dooling, who's like the big tall dude who throws hard, Kevin Kimmick. So then and like they have solid girls. Chrissy's on it, Cole's on it. But we didn't make the finals, so I have a kickball team, a bunch of kickball players. Um, and they're just like a good time and we're like competitive. So how we do it for our playoff is like the top 5 teams are in the A bracket and you play every team once during round robin for that night. And then the best two records advance to the finals. So it was like Jacob's team versus Noah's team.
Okay, that's cool. Was it
Mhm.
you and Cafe Ron, the kickballers?
No, my teams, we play kickball and it's like me, Dylan's on the team, like kind of help facilitate and just for me and him to build chemistry. And then like a bunch of kickball players who like you would be like, who is that?
Yeah.
But shout out my kickball people because we've played this. We did it kind of for a season as a kind of like a joke. Like, oh, we'll play for a season. Now we're on to our third. And a lot of them we're probably going to play kickball on Thursdays and then go straight from kickball to dodgeball come summertime.
Damn, they're
So
about that life.
yeah, they don't want to skip kickball and I don't want to skip dodgeball. So happy medium, play both.
Okay, that's fair. I like it. How was Mexico?
Everyone seems to think that like I went and I didn't do shit and I came back and they're like, dude, like you're not that tan. Like, and I'm like, guys, like I was not out in the sun that much. So the snowstorm really screwed us. We got 2 feet of snow pretty much between Sunday and the Monday, and they canceled my flight Saturday night. I was supposed to fly out Tuesday morning and they canceled it and then rescheduled it like 3 different times. So that was such a headache. Literally, like I think I canceled and rescheduled and was on flights with 2 layovers. And then finally, like after like a 6 hour hold, call me back with American Airlines. I was able to get on a 7 a.m. flight Wednesday. But I missed the whole day of like our seminar. So what it is LI Kicks a part of like the SSIA, which is a whole industry of social sports. And each year we go somewhere. So last year was in Vegas. The year before that I was in Punta Cana. The year before that was Kansas City. And it rotates between like destinations and places where like we have clubs in the industry. And it's like 8 or 9 different learning seminars over 3 days. And then there's like team challenge to like put you on random teams, people from different clubs and kind of make you network with them. But then you play like a bunch of like field day type games, which is cool because then we could bring those back to our clubs. So like Wednesday, I was out in the sun on the beach for like 3 hours playing that. And then other than that, I was pretty much inside the entire time, other than maybe like a half hour Friday morning. After our ending of our seminars, it was like 11 a.m. I was like, oh, I have a half hour before our next thing. So I went and changed my bathing suit, went down the water slide a couple times. And then we went on a catamaran Friday. And that was like the only downtime. The conference fish ended at 1 p.m. on Friday. And we did a catamaran at like 2 o'clock. Um, but it's just a lot of networking. It's a lot of seminars, a lot of stuff to like take home about like people who like also do this stuff. Cause like nobody really goes to school to like learn how to run a social sports league. I have a master's in sports management, and I didn't have a single chapter about like how to run a kickball league or a dodgeball league. It's really like how to run an event or and how you could tailor that to different things. But it was
That's
fine.
that's fair because I'm sure like you're asking them stuff, they're asking you stuff, and you're taking ideas back to
And
LA Kick.
so many leagues do stuff differently. Like our model is pretty different compared to other ones and how employees are. And like a lot of the talk this conference was about like employees and how they get paid or like their structure. And like our model is different than all these other models. So it was definitely cool to learn the other models. And then just like talk. Like this is my fourth conference now I've attended. So like now people kind of know me and like they approach me. I remember like my first conference, I was like shy. Like I literally only talked to the LIK people. I didn't want to go anywhere. Now I'm like, I walk in and I'm like, I brought board games and we were sitting there in the hotel lobby at 3 a.m., going up to our rooms and grabbing beers and then playing board games. Like, so it's cool to like, and with like people who are like owners of a sports league that has like 80,000 people a year. And I like it because 80,000 lifetime players. So it's like, whoa. But
Damn. These other leagues, are they all from the United States or are they from other countries as well?
it's mostly the US and then there's some from Canada. So I think there was 55 different social sports leagues that came on this trip. And I think about four of them were from Canada, and then the rest are all over. But it's really mostly all over the US. Like similar how like dodgeball has their big communities and like Cactus Dodgeball and Dodgeball Seattle, like our big community, like the big social sports leagues. There's like two in Chicago, one in Tampa Bay, one in Seattle that are like pretty big that like people just like know of them.
Mm,
And then it just really just goes from there. Some of them like Volo. I'm sure you heard of Volo is a big sports league that like just buys other smaller sports leagues. But like they'll come to the conference.
okay.
Um,
And any other
so
dodgeball leagues that came out that like Seattle or
um,
Minnesota?
there's no, so there's other dodgeball, like there's other people that run leagues and stuff that like run dodgeball. Baden is an official sponsor of the SSIA, which is nice because now that they got the USA Dodgeball sponsorship, like the 8 1/4 balls are kind of like being phased out, and a lot of leagues are switching over to Baden balls. There was a league in Canada that used joylights, and other than that, though, like very few leagues used like 7 inch foam or WDVF foam. They would use like 6 inch foam for like girls and 8 inch foam for guys, and it was like these were certain rules, and it's like the playground foam balls that you buy off Amazon that kind of suck. Um, but yeah, a lot of leagues are making a switch over, which is cool. Um, my first conference, Kate Cairns was part of Bolo at the time and like was the only person I knew. But like me and her both talked about dodgeball the entire time to anybody that would listen. And they're like, dude, like we think you have a problem. Look about other sports too. Like just too much dodgeball. And I was like, well, one day you'll realize. So
That's cool. So you stayed in Mexico for from Wednesday till
Saturday. So I
and
flew out Wednesday morning, landed at like 11 a.m., went straight to the conference. That was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was the conference. Did the catamaran Friday. Saturday morning, I checked out at 10 a.m., got on a shuttle, and at the second I got on the shuttle, my flight got delayed for 3 hours, but I couldn't go back to the resort. So I was stuck in the Cancun airport, and there was no cell service or LTE or Wi-Fi other than like one spot in a corner. Like I literally sat in the same chair for like 2 hours just to be able to have service.
I've been to Cancun one time. It was for our honeymoon 3 years ago, and it was like a gift from Hannah's grandparents. And if it wasn't a gift, like if you know me, I don't want to leave the country. Like
Yeah,
I am good. I'm good. I think that's probably like one of my biggest fears is just getting lost in another country and
oh, I'm
not
for it.
being able to speak to anyone. Phone
We
dead, like
were
no clue.
Yeah. The no service. Normally, it's not really a big deal with the service. I had service like off resort, like because like we left the resort to the catamaran. I definitely did not tell my family that.
Yeah, fuck
At
that.
first,
Fuck
like the
that.
second I told them I was going to Cancun, I got like the lecture of like, or why are you going there? What's going on? Like, are you sure you want to go? Like, and I was like, I'm fine. Like, it's not that bad. I'm not even gonna be leaving a resort. And then I was like, oh, the catamaran. And like the catamaran was like a 40-minute car ride, off the resort. Like we're driving past like National Guard and like they got like their big guns and they're just sitting there like watching as we drive past. I'm like, oh, like at least we're safe. Like, but are we? Like, I was like, oh
Yeah,
well. Like, let's just get on the water.
How far is Punta Cana from Cancun? Because they're having that issue with the
Puerto Vallarta.
oh yeah, Puerto Vallarta.
It's like the equivalent of like California and Florida. Like it's
Oh,
pretty far.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean it was fine. Like it was, but it was literally like let's just get on the catamaran. And I was snorkeling, and then I like jumped into snorkel, and there was like a 2 foot barracuda. And I'm like, all right, listen, if I go by nature, at least I'm going by nature. Like, and I texted my family, I was like, I'm back at the resort, and they're like, wait, you left the resort? I was like, surprise, like didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm good. Like we stayed at the Hard Rock and we're there for I think it was 5 or 6 nights. And they're like, okay, you can do all these excursions and we'll bring there and back. And I'm like, dude, I was shitting bricks from the airport. They picked us up and it was like Mr. and Mrs. Macomb holding a sign. I go into this white van, there's curtains all around. And they're like, okay, like you could sit wherever. And I'm sitting in the middle row perfectly looking like through the windshield. So I'm like nervous the entire time. We finally get to the resort. It's pretty nice. But they're like, you want
yeah,
to go anywhere
my
else?
first,
I'm like,
I
no.
think my first taste of really doing anything like that was Matt and Shannon's wedding. We did the cruise, and like I'd never really been international. And when I went, it was like no big deal. And I was like, whatever, like who cares? I'll get off the boat with you guys. There's 13 of us getting into a van. What could happen? And on the way back, the van got into like a fender bender, and we almost missed the cruise back, like the ship back. It was, and like there was no seatbelts, and the van had like 400,000 miles on it. The guy was like crying over his van, not like, and he's like, my van, my van. And he's like, goes and like rips the bumper off and then just keeps driving. I was like, whoa, well, like that. And that was like the first taste of me being in another country doing anything. Like, I'd been to Canada once when I was younger, but like I didn't really process it. Like it was just Canada to me, just like another part, like an extension of New York. It was cold, like, but like to see that and like no Wi-Fi, the van crashes, and like in in the van, we're sitting there waiting for like a half hour. We're playing like, is it a Pokemon or is it a drug? And just like reading a list and trying to guess. We're like 13 of us and just like laugh, like we're like, okay, like what's gonna happen? So
Yeah. Yeah. Not for me. I'm good. I would go to Canada, no problem. To play like dodgeball, but I wouldn't be like, hey, let me go to Canada because I want to go to Toronto or Vancouver or something like that. Like, I'm sure those cities are really cool, don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but yeah. All right, let's move right into some would you rather questions. I got two from me and one from Biggie. Are you ready?
Oh boy, Biggie. Yeah, let's hear it.
The Biggie one is like, you'll laugh about it.
I
All right,
figured.
my first one. Would you rather have Kyler Murray be the starting quarterback of the Jets next season or tank for the number one pick?
Neither. Well, we're gonna draft outside linebacker or an edge rusher. That's why we traded Jermaine Johnson this year. I
So
I
we're
just don't know
tanking.
who well, who's our quarterback gonna be this year, and who are we tanking for? Like if we don't go for Kyler, then what is it gonna be Kirk Cousins? Because to me, I think that's where we're at. It's either gonna be Kirk Cousins or Kyler, or like I don't know.
Bring back
Uh,
Gino. Trade a seventh for him.
yeah, okay. Yeah, there was a trade that just went through, and it was like a fifth round pick for somebody. And I was just like, oh, like that's it. Why can't we make trades like that? Like if the Jets would do that, oh, here's a fourth, a second, a fourth, and whatever for a guy
I
who's
think you're talking about David Montgomery. It was like a
but the
fourth, a
Montgomery,
sixth,
yeah,
and
it
then
was the
player.
equivalent of a fourth. It was like a fourth, a seventh, and like a outside offensive tackle or something like that. I was like, okay, like, but if that was the Jets, we probably would have gave up a third round pick for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we turned down a second for Jermaine Johnson just to trade him for a defensive tackle who's also young and has 2 years left. I think we're gonna shift our defense. I guess tank. I don't know. I don't want to like waste our we have some offensive weapons, so it's like that in between.
You
But
guys
to me,
have to tank. You have way too many first round picks next year.
sure, but I guess
Unless you think Kyler's him.
I don't think Kyler said you're right. Like, there's no quarter. Their answer is to tank because there's no quarterback that is like this is our quarterback. This is our franchise quarterback. Um, and if we draft it, we tank and draft a quarterback next year, it allows us to re-sign like Brees and Garrett Wilson, all them. I
I,
guess.
I I think the only available quarterbacks this year is going to be like Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Tua when he gets cut. I
Yeah.
think maybe, I mean,
Well,
I think
Brissett's a free agent too, right? Is he gonna? The Cardinals gonna re-sign him? I guess right.
probably.
If they're gonna
He
cut
did fine. Yeah.
Kyler. Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis is going to be a starting quarterback next
Oh,
year. I think Malik Willis is
yeah.
going to be a starting quarterback next year. I don't know what
Dolphins.
team, but he'll be a starting quarterback.
I like to see
So
it.
it would be great for my dynasty team that does only has one quarterback.
Why you have
So
Malik?
yeah, that's our league, the league we're in together.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Positive.
Unless I dropped him at some
I think
point
you dropped him because I
and
was
you
trying
picked
to
him.
pick him up, and our league ended on like that Tuesday, and the waiver didn't go through until Wednesday. So I'm pretty sure he's a free agent right now, and everyone's gonna bid like all their fab on him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't have him. I don't know. That team I got put in a bad situation and I just made it even worse.
Yeah, I'm kind of regretting joining that league, the one where we picked up the orphan teams.
Oh no, I have
Maybe
Malik Willis.
okay, maybe I'm thinking of the best ball
He's my
league.
starting quarterback.
You're cooked.
Him, JJ McCarthy, Jameis Winston are my quarterbacks on my roster
Yeah, you're cooked.
in a two QB league.
You're cooked. All right. Next, would you rather? Would you rather see the Jets? This is a mean would you rather, by the way. Would you rather see the Jets consistently make the playoffs in the next 16 years, but never win the Super Bowl? Or wait another 16 years for the Jets to make the playoffs, but when they do, they win the Super Bowl?
I'd rather wait the 16 years. I have no faith in the Jets right now. I don't need to be let down 16 years in a row and never win. Like, oh, you're good, but you can't get over the hump. Um, I'm a Mets and a Knicks fan too. Like, I've suffered enough. Like, I can deal with another 15 years of suffering to get a ring. Like,
32 years of not making the playoffs, but when you do, you win the Super Bowl.
oh,
32 years
32,
straight. Because
not
you guys
16.
have well, you guys haven't made the super or yeah, you guys haven't made the
Oh,
playoffs for
well,
16 years.
yeah, but I'm already 16 years in. I don't care about that.
Okay, so
I
32
remember,
total years on not making the
yeah,
playoffs.
give me another 16 years right now. I'll wear my Mark Sanchez jersey for the
What is
next
that,
16 years.
2042?
Yeah, give it to me.
Did
I'll be
you
what, 50, 45 years old, and I'll have a Jets ring. I can wait. I can do that.
bless your heart?
Yeah, as long as as long as my other New York, like if the Knicks are winning, which I think, fingers crossed, but I think we win a chip in the next 4 years. Yeah, if I knew, I would have worn my white one. Um, I think we have a chance to win a chip in the next 4 years. Like that's kind of our window. I feel like. Um, and the Mets, I don't know. The Mets are the Mets. They're gonna break my heart. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but so give me another 16 years. Since I've been a Jets fan, I've been to like what 3 or 4 playoffs. Like I can do another 16.
That's rough, brother. The Eagles made the playoffs and the Super Bowl, I think it was like 2004. That's when I first became a fan. They made it in 2017. They made it in 2022 and then 2024.
Thank you. I saw the text, but thank you. Sorry.
That
Um,
is rough for you though.
yeah.
Okay. And my last one. Hold on. Before I ask the last one, you saw the Mark Sanchez getting arrested like a month and a half ago.
Hmm.
Did you see what type of drugs this man was on?
No.
Oh my God. You're not even going to believe it. I'm going to look this up because I want to make sure I get it right. But,
Ayahuasca.
bro, he was having a night. Mark Sanchez. I'm just
Cocaine.
Googling Mark Sanchez drugs. Okay. This happened in October 2025. AI overview, former NFL quarterback and
Cocaine
Fox,
and fentanyl.
fentanyl, cocaine, and marijuana. Wild drug cocktail.
Had a boy.
Bro was having a night, and he was just trying to do some wind sprints in the alley.
Yeah.
Insane. All
Yeah,
right.
these players get the spotlight and then they come out of the spotlight. And sometimes I swear they're doing shit because like they know the repercussions aren't gonna be that bad and their name they just needs to be in the spotlight again.
Is he still in jail?
I don't know. I mean, he was like a sportscaster for a little bit, so like for him to do this is kind of dumb.
He was a
But
good one too.
yeah, there goes his career. He
Is Mark
butt fumbled
Sanchez
that one.
jail? Haha. Nope. He was booked and released in October. Okay, my boy's
Yeah, he's
out of
probably
jail.
waiting trials to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Damn. Free Mark Sanchez. All right, last one. From Biggie, would you rather eat a piece of chicken or let a scorpion bite you? Love you, Gio.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I'm allergic to poultry, which is why he exed it. Um, a piece of chicken will not kill me. So I'm gonna eat that chicken because I do like chicken still. Like there's definitely times where like I'm eating chicken knowing it's gonna like mess up my stomach. And it's like I can eat like one wing and my tongue will tingle. But if I have two wings, like it's game over. Like I'm taking a Benadryl or I'm in and out of the bathroom the whole day. So
You're not taking like the EpiPen though, right?
um I don't know. I haven't really gotten tested for it in a while. Um they like told me the first time that it was like an intolerance, but like my body reacts negatively to it. So like an EpiPen really wouldn't help anyway. But like taking Benadryl might help, like with, or like anything that's like an anti-inflammatory will help. And that's really been it because I really don't eat it that often since then. There's been like I think there was one time, one Super Bowl, I like was like I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna eat as many chicken wings as I can while drinking until I throw up. Um, which was not a good idea. And I think I had like six wings and pulled trig. And that was like
Whoa, six
whoa, yeah,
wings?
exactly. Six wings, bone in. And
Man,
probably like that was probably around COVID time when I was like dumb and had nothing else to do with my life. Like, let's see how many chicken wings I can eat and see what happens because COVID didn't kill me.
that's fair. Nothing else better to do during
Yeah.
COVID. Okay. Also, being allergic to chicken and being Italian should be illegal. That's a crazy
Hmm.
combo.
Yeah. Everyone asks me all the time, like, how do you meal prep? And it's like steak, pork chops, or like any chicken, like chicken parm, can't do. So like, if I'm really feeling Italian, I'll do veal parm. But most of the time, it's just like a meatball parm
Veal
instead.
parm. No lemon chicken.
No
No
lemon
chicken
chicken either.
marsala.
No chicken marsala.
Wow. Damn.
Um, yeah. I mean, my family's pretty good. Like my stepmom's really good with it. She'll shout out Alita. She'll make
Shout out Lita.
like she made chicken cacciatore and she made me pork cacciatore. So like I can still have the dish just with a different meat.
What? Wait, say that again?
Chicken cacciatore.
I don't know what that is.
It's like an Italian chicken dish. Um, but it's in like a red sauce with like olives and capers, or it really
Ooh,
depends on how you make it. But she made it with pork for me, so I could still eat it just with pork.
sounds
So
fire.
normally anytime there's chicken cooked at the house, like in my own private, like this is only for Geo, which is nice. So then
Nice.
I can
Hell yeah.
like use it for lunch.
Hell yeah. All right. I'm gonna ask you the first question and mute myself because Caden is crying.
Yep.
So, first question from me: how did you get into dodgeball?
Yeah. I guess I started playing at Laserland. So what was that? Started working there in 2015, 2014, 2015. And there was a dodgeball arena in the back. And like what they used to do is like make the newest employees ref little kid dodgeball for like 5 and 6 year olds. And when there would be nobody in there, I would always kind of go and like watch the adults play. Um, and it happened to be like Alexa Warnock, Derek Smith, Emily Shewitt, Randy Malden, a couple others, Mo Lopez. But like that was like the big five that I remember seeing at first. And it would be like, okay, these guys can play. And then I started playing on my breaks. Like I just like started like I worked at the front desk. So they'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing during your break? Like, come hang out with us for a little bit." And that was kind of like the start. And it really didn't come to anything out of like 8 1/4 dodgeball on my break, foam. Didn't think much of it. It was just like this is fun. And then that kind of just like took off. We went to a tournament in 2016. And it was just like a NASA PAL. Like it was like literally a charity tournament. Um, and that was kind of it for me. Like once I went to one of those tournaments, it was like, okay, like this is cool. Like, but there was no competition. It wasn't like super fun. It was just like we go and bring this team, and like we kind of wiped people. And then I went to a Sky Zone tournament. Someone who used to work at Laserland invited me, and we went and played. And I was on his team, and we got washed. And that was like the workers team, right? So like I don't remember much. I remember Kill the Comp being there, and I remember them kicking our ass, but I don't remember like anything else because it was only one I went to, and I was like, no, like I'm good. Um, but I was also like, I didn't really have the time for it. I didn't really have like the passion to keep playing. It was like I was going to all these like low level nobody tournaments, and we were winning, and it was like thing to do with friends. That like we were getting our money back, or like getting a bottle of vodka or whatever it was. Um, and then I went to that, and we just got washed, and like I didn't even have like a team. Like it was just like I went to go play by myself. I was like, this is not fun. And that kind of is what started it. Was just like more tournaments like that.
What Sky Zone was it? Was it Deer Park?
Yeah, it was Deer Park.
Mm. I miss
not
those
Mount Sinai.
tournaments.
Yeah, I've done Deer Park and I did Mount Sinai once, but not really for a tournament. I think it was Deer Park and I did one Mount Sinai tournament, but it was like one of the last tournaments. Um, but again, like we didn't bring our old team was called FYF. And it was like
Fuck
me,
your
Derek,
face.
Mo. Yeah, fuck your face. Me, Derek, Mo, Randy, a couple others that don't really play anymore. But that was our. We'd go to
Evan
those.
Stannis.
Not Kevin Stanis. There was a different Kevin. There was Alexa played. Emily Shewitt played. This dude Brian played. Not from the Bullets. There was another Brian who actually like just moved back to Long Island and happened to be at the same bar as LI kicked dodgeball one night and like saw a bunch of us and I was like, I know you. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of how I got in, and then LI kick kind of like really bought me into it all.
The Mount Sinai trampolines, I was not a fan of that Sky Zone. They had like the weird two with like the neutral zone in the middle.
Yeah, that one's now a indoor sand volleyball place with like 5 or 6 sand volleyball courts.
I see Sky Zone Deer Park is still a thing. Like I get
Sky
emails from
Zone,
them.
yeah, Sky Zone Deer Park's still a thing. 2 or 3 years back, before Ben Murator like joined LI Kick or was playing more court dodgeball, it's probably 3 or 4 years at this point. He was like he invited me out to like a Sky Zone Deer Park like tournament, and I was like, whoa, what? Like
What? They still have
I didn't
tournaments
even know
there?
that they still existed. This was probably like 4 years ago, and I don't think it ever ran. Um, but like it was like an interesting, like, hey, is there any interest in you guys doing this? But we were just talking about it. The other day marked 6 years that we started dodgeball with LI Kick.
Wow.
Literally, like January 30th was the six year anniversary, which is my 6 year anniversary with LI Kick, like being part of the league and stuff. Um, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the later questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's we could skip ahead to that if you want, but let's just do the next one. How often do you play dodgeball and where do you play?
Yeah, it's really just league right now. Semi-pro starting up soon, so it'll be semi-pro. But right now I play Thursdays. Like I said, we play on a team. I play with a team called We Play Kickball. So we're trying to help teach some players who are athletic come in and play, and me and Dylan play together. Just like kind of like work on things live, like what I'm doing and stuff. So like taking the pitch and like going for or taking the pitch wide or like taking it short or running a 2 ball pitch. So that's Thursdays. That's like a 10 team league. So we play about 45 minutes to an hour of like pretty high level play because the way we do our schedules and ELO schedule. So it's kind of, you kind of play like mostly the top teams every week. So top players Long Island. And then Monday nights on occasion, I go to like a competitive practice on Long Island, which we have for 2 hours. And then if I can, like probably this Friday, I'll be coming up there, check out Connecticut Dodgeball for the first time.
Okay.
So yeah, if you listen to the pod, you'll know I'm coming up. If not, then you won't know till I get there, or if it
Okay.
doesn't get posted in time. Um, but yeah, so I think I'm gonna come up Friday. I just kind of get back into it. But if I'm not playing, I try to do band work at least 2 or 3 days a week as well. So like I
Hmm.
kind of include that within my dodgeball workouts and stuff. Um, we don't have a lot on like not that we don't have a lot on Long Island, but like the venue space is just hard to get, and it's hard to get and sell multiple nights of dodgeball. Um, So we do pickups Monday, and then we do our league Thursday, and then semi-pro startups. I'll do that, and then the USA tour is starting up, so be going to most of those.
Yeah, everything's starting up again. I'm looking at my schedule for like the next few months and just trying to get back into dodgeball. And I'm like, all right, April
Yeah,
till August is like every other week or, back to back weekends for a
yeah.
while.
Between semi-pro and then everything that everyone else is going to, I want to make it one of my goals to go to some more of the other tournaments. I've been up to Connecticut a couple times. I've been up to Boston a couple times, obviously. Um, but I want to go down to a DMV tournament this year. And Philly, I mean, Philly has Beast Coast. Just all depends on like alignment of tournaments because our semi-pro dates get released pretty early. So our semi-pro dates have been out for since January 1st. And then it's just hard to kind of change those with venues. But if there's overlap, like that's the only thing that would stop me from really going to some of these other tournaments. So if I can do a drive, to me, it's like not money. Like, I don't know, drinking, right? Like in theory, you go out on a Saturday night, you find something to do, or you're going out hanging out with your friends. Like you're gonna spend up money if you're gonna do something. So I'd rather spend that $100, go and use it, take 4 people in a car and go down to a tournament, check out another league and play some more dodgeball than like spend $100 going out to bars on a Saturday night.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. You can come up to Connecticut Dodgeball on Friday, spend $10 on the open gym, play with like 40 people, have a good time at the bar
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, it's probably my plan is come up Friday and then come down either Saturday morning or Friday night, depending on what I want to do, depending on
You're
how
gonna,
many people of us go up.
yeah, the Fridays have been really fun. People have been coming down from Boston. People have been coming up from Long Island. I had someone reach out to me. I'm not going to say it on the pod, but we have a couple that lives on the East Coast that hit me up that I think will also be there on Friday. I'll tell you what, not on the
Yeah.
pod.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely a good time. Would love to have you guys come up.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to bring some people for sure. We just keep talk. We talk about it a decent amount. I'll get the text from Jackie because I know Jackie's been coming up.
Jackie's been coming up.
So
Brenna
Jackie's
came
like,
up.
"You want to come up with me? I'm driving this person this week." And this week I was in Cancun. So I was like, "I'm on a beach." She's like, "Right now?" I was like, "No, on Friday I'll be on a beach." Um, so and then the Friday before I had an event. I run semi-pro volleyball for LI Kick as well. So I had semi-pro volleyball.
Hmm.
But this Friday I have nothing, and it's like the only Friday this month that I have nothing, and it was like the only Friday last month I didn't have anything. It was like my one free Friday in the last 2 months, so I'm excited to finally come check it out.
It's meant to be. All right, my next question. Can you talk about your dodgeball community?
Sure, yeah, I'll probably kind of go into this as a little bit of an origin, but um, LI Kick Dodgeball's been around for 6 years now. We started January of 2020. And basically, how it started was because I was pushing at Laserland when I worked there. I was trying to get a tournament, the cash prize. We ended up getting like 3 or 4 teams interested in it. And the owner of Laserland, which was going like transitioning, was like, "Oh, we're actually like we're a kids place because that's what their other chains were." And they're like, "We're getting rid of the dodgeball court, so we'll have one." And I was like, "I can't run a 8 team tournament with one dodgeball court." So we kind of scrapped that idea and we went and found like a local charity tournament and Sal from LA Kick was there and I kind of was like, hey, like I want to play dodgeball. I had played against him a couple years prior and mentioned it to him, but I wasn't 21. And then at that point, I was like 22 years old. I was like, I can guarantee you at least 2 teams for this league. And then there was a guy from Zog Sports who also wanted to run a league and he wanted to like run the league. And it was like, I can guarantee you 2 teams. So Sal was like, let's run a league. And if anything, we'll only have 4 teams. So our first league, we ended up having like 6 or 7 teams, which was nice. But we used 8 1/4 foam. And 2 weeks into the season, the guy got hurt and like just stopped showing up. Um, and I just like kind of like naturally took over because like I understood dodgeball more than anybody else that was there. I had just been to in 2019, I had went to Dodge Hunger. And that was in like August of that year. And I had like found out there was like a pro division of dodgeball, which was like it was Marcus Morgan. He was like, "You guys should not be playing in his rec division." And I remember that. And then I remember talking to some other people. And then from there, between there and January, I had gone to like Abdul ran tournaments and stuff. So I just had a general understanding, and I'd like gotten the itch to play. So I kind of kept bugging Sal. I was like, "We need to play. We need to play. We need to play." Hey, I have this many people. I'm collecting interest. And then when the guy got hurt, I kind of just like refed every week. And our season got cut short because of COVID. And I was like, great, it's never coming back. Like, any momentum it had is gone. And coming out of COVID, Sal like offered it to me. He's like, listen, I don't know what it's going to be like, but like, if you want to be our dodgeball league director, it's all yours. And we played 8 1/4 foam on courts at a Jewish community center for about a year. And it was like not the best relationship with them, but like it was enough to get the job done. The league was pretty small. The formatting kind of sucked because you only really interacted with your team and another team, but like you weren't allowed to hang out in the gym afterwards and socialize. Like after the games are over, we had to get the next games in. But like because of COVID, we were not allowed in like this common area or the other
Oh,
gyms or anything. We couldn't sit on the bleachers. It was a max of like 30 people allowed in the gym at once. And teams were of like 8 and they would like be like, oh, it's these teams and like this team that's roughing. That's the only people that are allowed there.
wow.
And they like literally like kicked us out on the dot. So it was just like not the best for like a community building aspect. So eventually we made a switch. We moved to turf, which definitely sucked, but it was better for the community, and I think it really helped build the community. And then we switched to 7 1/4, 7 inch foam instead of 8 1/4 foam, and that was like our defining moment where I think we started growing. So we did that switch in 2022, I think, 2023, and that's kind of like where it took over. So our community now I think last year we had 42 different players travel to at least one tournament. That was outside of Long Island, which is really cool. We've added, we've ran tournaments. So it started off with we had like Halloween. There's like a Halloween tournament, and then we did a spring sling, which is like a dodgeball shootout, like all like teams. And then we kind of discovered semi-pro as like our sweet bread and butter for the tournaments we offer, which we started 2 years ago. So that's kind of like where the community really took off. We've had 2 nights a week. We've had one night a week based on availability. And the community's just grown. I mean, they definitely like it's not all me. Like I did a lot of the like like when you start a fire, you have to like really like tend to it. And I definitely did that. But like once I got it going and the fire was there, like there's these other people who just came and helped. Like like you have to go and chop wood, you have to do this, you have to do like there was definitely support a big support system. Um, because like Sal was like dodgeball's in your hands. Like if you want it to grow, it's on you. Like I don't know much about dodgeball. I'm here to support you with it, but like it kind of like proved to me that it's gonna work. I was like, okay, like done, deal. Um, so it took, like at first it was like not really a lot of people into it. Matt Spadone came in, that was a huge addition. He guaranteed a team every season. Dylan Cruz did a lot of help behind the scenes, helping grow the community, doing competitive practice for skills. I've had, Kevin Stanis was in for a bit. He kind of helped out with stuff. I was a league director for the first 4 years. So like the first 4 years, I was very hands on with it. For the last year and a half, I have not been hands on at all. It's very like, if we used to not run year round. Now we run year round. Um, I passed it on to Brett. I've known Brett forever, so I was like, hey, like you're gonna be my coordinator. Like one season, I didn't give him a choice. Like they didn't want to play for a while. All my Northport friends were like, oh, it's a joke. Like we won't play. I was like, we're gonna get a whole Northport team in, and then I got a whole Northport team in. We played for a year. We won. A couple of them kept with it. And then after a year of playing, I'm like, Brett, you're helping me run the league. You're gonna be like my bar coordinator. You don't have a choice. He's like, I don't, what am I doing? I was like, you're running bar games for me. And then it was at the point where I was like, I don't really care. Not that I don't care to do this anymore, but because I took a full-time job at LA Kick, I just kind of needed to like take that step back. And Brett's done a great job in like helping keeping it growing. But it really comes down to all the captains in the community and the players who built it. Like Tom Cicilline's the guy who you always know he's putting a team in. Noah's been around for a while. You have these new players coming in. Jacob's always there shagging for a new team. Morgan and Matt are always shagging when they're not playing. People have like kind of taken some time off and come back, or like Chris Brand brought in a team with his family for a couple of seasons, and now he plays with other people. So it's definitely pillars of the community, I guess you could say. But it takes a whole community to keep it growing and like nurturing. And like being able to have those conversations with people who like are not uplifting the community. Or like kind of like realize their spot. And there's definitely people like I don't necessarily like the conflict of doing that because like everyone has their own shit going on. And if dodgeball's a place for them to like step away and like get away from things, I don't want to add to things. Like I don't want dodgeball to be a place where they feel like they can't come. So I try to be as welcoming as possible no matter what. There's definitely people who are like, I don't really care. I'll say something. And I'm like, listen, if you want to say something, that's on you. But yeah, there's been so many people who've helped grown it. Like Derek and Sierra, they ran free agent teams. They just play on free agent teams all the time. um the girls in the program without the ladies in LI Kick, like we don't have dodgeball. We started with gender blind, no rules. When I came on full time with it and we switched, I was like, we have to have at least one girl on the court. Now we're up to two girls on the court, and the ladies on the court are pushing for three. So like, I'm for it. I know there's some teams that have four girls on it this season. We play with six on the court, and they're like, I'm gonna run 3-3 this season. And I was like, listen, I'll match you if you have it. Our team has four girls on it too. Like, we'll make it work. So it's nice to see that like that's a thing because I feel like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like it was a struggle to get some teams to have two girls on it. So it's nice to see the ladies in the community. I think they are a backbone of the community, and just like all the captains, all the work everyone puts in, semi-pro captains, coming from wherever. Um, it takes a village. So
Yeah.
I think that's why the community is successful and it is where it is. It's because like like all these other like Philly, Seattle, Cactus, like you look at these huge communities, they're really big. They also play in really big cities and major cities, and like Long Island's not a major city. And for us to have the talent that we do, or travel as well as we do for being in a non-major city, and like be able to like not like they're always a step ahead of us, those clubs or those communities, but to be like what, like we're not that far behind them. Like we offer stuff, like they get the gym space, they have the bigger base, but like we're not that far behind, which is cool to like see and acknowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I've been coming down for 3 years. I've known you for a long time. I remember you at that Dodging Hunger tournament when you guys weren't in the advanced bracket, you were like in the intermediate, and then you guys actually played us afterwards. I don't know if you remember, it's like a fuck
Yeah,
around game, but I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, these guys shouldn't have been playing in that intermediate. I
yeah.
I went to
There was.
that.
Do you
Go
remember
ahead,
the tournament on the concrete? Like we were playing, it was like the armor, basically an armory, but like it wasn't like the paper mill.
bro.
It was you guys, Bulls, and then we were the other team that like nobody knew about, and we knocked
Yes,
out Bulls, and I think we played you guys in the finals.
yeah, that bro. Yes, I think my team was like myself, Frankie, TJ Jefferson, Brian Baker, I think Joe Tat, Sam
Yeah,
Girardi.
yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know, oh my gosh, it's a charity tournament. I forget for what now. It's been a long time. It's been like 7 or 8 years. But
Dodge Hunger hasn't ran since 2019 or 2018.
mhm.
And then there was that one that was on like the concrete, basically. That was the only year we went.
Yeah, the concrete one. I've only been there one time too, and they used to play with volleyballs on the court, like just literally
Yeah.
random balls. But yeah, that one. Do you remember the rules for that with the balls?
Yeah, it was some like crazy shit. And you had like 5 seconds to throw it. One they were running so far behind, so they just changed the rules on us. And
Yes.
we're like, wait, what?
Yeah. So they're like,
Um,
okay, if you have the ball in your hand, you have 5 seconds to throw it. So I'm like,
if you don't,
okay.
you're out. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, if it's in my hand, then I need to throw it. So I would just put it in front of me. And they're
I
like,
always
no,
say
you need to throw
if I
that.
remember correctly, you were like bouncing it like it was a basketball. Like
Yeah.
there's a couple times you were doing shit. I was like, what is going on right now? Like, and we definitely didn't like we were newer to the dodgeball scene, so we were getting tight. We were just like, what are these refs? Why are they changing the rules? And who is this guy bouncing a ball? Like, can we do that? And like I think Derek went to do that, and they called Derek out for it. And we're like, wait, like what is going on?
Yeah. It was 8.25 inch foam too. And I mean, I'm not known for my catching at all, but these balls are easy as fuck to catch. So we literally kept
Yeah,
a track of how many people, well, like not how many people, I think everyone had a catch, but like how many catches people had.
yeah. Those are good. They're also hard to curve, but like that was like my bread and butter growing up. Like that was the first ball type I played dodgeball with. So like I get some of these balls that would have like crazy movement on it, and like I was like, oh, this is cool. Like honestly, it helped me throw a curveball with no sting and foam because like those balls are so hard to grip, and the way you have to grip it to throw a curve, like it's like oh, like. But yeah, I will never. Not that I'll never play that ball type again, but I'll never play that ball type again.
Hell no. I remember at Sky Zone, that's like the default ball type. And then I had to go to the front desk, be like, hey, can we like, break out the no sting balls? They're like, how many
Yeah,
people do you have? I'm like, we have like 14. We're fine. Like, can you bring out the balls? But also, I do remember the turf, like kind of dome that you guys used to play at. And the first
yeah.
time I went there, it was 8.5 that I played. And it was like a Saturday practice. And then we went
Oh
to your house
yeah, we
afterwards.
went to my house afterwards. Yeah, yeah. We just trying to get, and I pushed for that for so long because like our community wasn't that big at the time, and like I was like I can get people to travel, but like people are gonna want a different ball type. Um, yeah, Frankie came up and everything, and then it was my stepmom's 50th birthday that like that's where the Juicy J nickname came from. But yeah, we had like 13 or 14 people if you guys come out and play on that turf.
Yep, we brought a
Um,
car full of people down to Long Island, and we got absolutely hammered at your house afterwards.
yeah, yeah, that tends to be a trend. If we go to my house to party, it's like we're not gonna get that drunk. We're gonna drive home. We're gonna leave after like an hour, and then it's like 5 hours go by, and it's like I think I should stop drinking. Like
Yeah, to be fair, we did drive home, but I think we got home at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I would say, you guys didn't leave that night until like at least midnight, 1 a.m.
It was late. It was like July 4th, like 2 years ago when I came down. It's like Sean Williams, myself,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Ben. We stayed there
Yeah,
forever.
we posted for it. It was an Instagram post, and it was like verified. Like Sean posted, it was like you got to be verified in Connecticut. And it was like eight of us, and it was like three Long Islanders, and the rest of everyone else was from Connecticut or something.
Yeah, good time. All right, my next question. Describe what it's like to be a league coordinator. What are some challenges and how can people help out?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't realize. Um, and like getting a venue is hard as hell. And a lot of players who just play like we just made the switch from turf to court full time. Like we run our tournaments on court for the last like 2 or 3 years, but we used to play our league on turf still. We'd have like Monday pickups. We'd get to be on court. We had a court league that was like running from like 10 to midnight, and like we had 4 teams of 8 on it or whatever it was, or 5 teams of 8. Um, because like people just wanted to play court that badly. So venue is definitely something that people don't realize is like getting the venues or like equipment wise. Like Now Baden's around, so it makes it so much easier. But the amount of times like we'd be waiting on a ship, like we can't get from Joylight, so we'd have to like try to find a league who ordered the 600 balls and get from them, and then like see them or like go to a USA round. Like I think there was an Arizona round where I went, bought a backpack there and bought 12 balls to bring home, and then returned the backpack when I got home, just so I can get balls for our league. So like equipment, like a lot of people just think it's like cut and dry and super easy. Like, oh, like the league makes money, so like why can't we get this stuff? For a while it wasn't readily available. Finally, we're at a point where like Baden makes the balls pretty available and you can get them pretty quickly. Um, Venue space is still really hard. Like that's probably the number one problem with a lot of leagues. Like I think we're at a point now with dodgeball as a whole between rule sets and governing bodies, and like there's big leagues who are doing it really well, and USA's rule set and stuff is kind of like an overview. If you're not a member organization, like you know, it's good to be one. Um, to kind of like help figure out what you could do and give you the resources to help start off. Um, and then like filling out free agent teams, trying to keep teams balanced or like deal with players' complaints and like make them feel heard, but also not like turn away some of your top players or captains. Like we have like Matt Spadone brings in a bunch of squids every season. There's been people want to go to draft. Like, yeah, we could definitely go to draft. And like there's times we've talked about it and we do draft seasons here and there. I know you guys are doing remix only, but then we also have like a team that's like, you know, they come as a full team, build their friends, they're 10 deep, they go to the bar 10 deep, and like, but then they network, but like they want to play together. Like they don't really want to play without each other. Um, so like there's definitely like balances of things you need to do and not need to do. And then like that's a lot harder than people realize, I think. I think it's just very easy to voice your opinion on how you feel about something, but not to like the inner workings of it or like the all the effects of it. Um, so that's something like I've definitely learned over the years, and just like getting people to sign up, like the back end, like oh, knowing your that team needs two girls, like okay, who's played dodgeball recently that I can reach out to? Oh, you know, so and so hasn't played dodgeball in 3 seasons, but they played the whole year before that. Like, let me reach out to them. Um, so like that's like stuff I do. I think having building those connections with people and like kind of having a good community is huge. So building like the right community helps you go a long way, or like a community where like you people can feel heard, and feel like they do have a say in it without like every single little outcome being a say that they directly have. But yeah, venues are definitely probably the hardest thing, and then just like keeping it going, and getting into it. Like we are in a venue now, and like we have 8:30 to 11 for the next year with them, pretty much, um, because it's going to go die into like lighter season where it's not going to be as late. But if we go like to 8 to 10, and then come their volleyball season again, they might turn around and be like, okay, yeah, you have 8:30 to 10 again, or 9:30. You know, um, so locking in venues is definitely huge, and then just again like building the community, having the equipment, and just having some the right support is definitely something that like helps it be a successful community.
Yeah, the venue is rough. So, I was trying to find a space in December and in January, and we had like a list of like 20 for Connecticut dodgeball, and I'm like, okay, this venue is available, but like looking at pictures online, it's not doable. Okay, this one is available, but only on certain times or certain days, and it's not days that we want to do, or
Yeah,
it's conflicting with other leagues. There's been like I went to go check out a venue 2 weeks ago, and I went into their gym, and it's super cool, like to play pickup basketball. But you would never see from the pictures in person a whole ass wall has like 100 tiny little mirrors, and there's black plywood painted over it. So you would never see it unless you went there in person.
go there personally. Yeah,
And
because
then I'm
that's like
like,
some
all
venues we
right,
checked
like
out that I was like, like,
yeah, I'm like, we got
uh,
nets that go 10 feet tall, but someone ball blocks, or there's one wild throw and it's going through a window.
yeah. Well, that was even reason we got to court is like a position of opportunity. Like we were running dodgeball Thursdays at a place we also run volleyball at. Our Where we're at now, we were running pickleball at because pickleball courts are also really hard to find. But a new pickleball venue opened up, and we were able to move off the court onto like a pickleball court. And like pickleball players much rather prefer that, so we made the shift. We were talking back and forth between dodgeball and volleyball. And I was like, dodgeball is there. Like we've been there for the courts. It's easier to set up. It's actually a little bit cheaper to run dodgeball there compared to volleyball there. And we like looked at the cost for the venues and stuff, and it was like volleyball was too expensive to run there, and it was like let's run dodgeball here. And if it doesn't work, then like it doesn't work, and we'll like go back to the drawing board. And it's been our biggest league we've had in like over a year. We had 10 teams last season. We have 9 this season. Um, so like it was kind of just like an opportunity arise. And we're like, let's just throw something at it and see what sticks. That's been something that me and Sal have been doing a lot, is trying to find new venues just in general for volleyball. Like indoor court venues are so hard to come by on Long Island. Our first semi-pro tournament is actually going to be at a new venue. It's going to be in Northport, and they rip up one of their turf fields every year in April, and they throw down another court. So they'll be, in theory, they have 4 courts there for dodgeball, which is nice. Like it's a good opportunity. So we'll be there for the first one, just because it's still so hard to keep venues and semi. I mean, you saw the problem last year with semi-pro trying to move dates or different times. The openers are at different times.
Hmm.
Um, so it's just hard to like get court space and keep it. Even like colleges and spaces like that is just such a headache.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the place we play at now, we have been playing on Fridays, but our league actually starts this upcoming Monday. So we had like a free open gym for any first timers. So I hit up like, 10 people that, have played dodgeball, but just haven't been, coming for a
Yeah,
while or haven't, just been to our league. So us going to that venue on Monday was the first time we've ever gone on a Monday. And there's 3 courts, and there is a shit ton of kids running around. There's like a older men's basketball, league going on in the middle
yeah.
court. And I mean, it took an army for us to tape, get nets up, like balls, everything,
You
speakers.
have to. I guess you have to tape. You can't. I would say the way they're set up, they don't have like volleyball court lines down that you could just use, because the volleyball court's the same dimensions.
No, the if we were to go one way, it's 25 feet. We could do it the other way, but we can only do one court. And again,
Gotcha.
this
Yeah.
this is a good problem to have. Like last Friday, we had the most people we've had show up so far, 42. So I
Hmm.
extend the courts out. It's just a matter of how
Yeah.
much I have to. But people that that are traveling, or people that don't really understand like relationships with venues, they're like, hey, you think we can like stay another hour? Like maybe we can like come back here later on this week. I'm like, guys, like it takes a lot to, like, we had to wait 3 months to even
Yeah.
get in here.
Yeah. We have a pretty good relationship with all sports, as we're all semi-pros and stuff. Like we're there 2 days a week for volleyball as it is. 3 days a week for volleyball as it is, I should say. Plus our like monthly tournament series that we do between semi-pro volleyball or dodgeball or whatever it is. So anytime there's like some opening spots, they'll hit us up. But there's also times where like they'll be like, "Hey, I know we booked you," or like, but we also had this kid's party, and this kid's party is gonna run over, so like we had to put you back a half hour. And they're pretty good with like letting us know, or like if it is something that like, "Hey, we have this offer. Is there a way we can move your booking around, but in return we'll give you an extra hour on a different day?" So like they'll like reward, like be like, "Hey, if you could be flexible with us, we'll give you more time for something," which is nice because we'll definitely go and use that. And like there's times when we might need it. So,
Yeah,
but
no,
venue relationships is huge for a league. Like get on that now. And if you're a player in a league and you have a connection to a venue, reach out to your league organizers. Help them get something. A lot of the basic stuff like an email or whatever it is, like we write emails weekly and stuff. That's easy. Like getting team pictures, or like helping them with prizes, or helping on a court, like being able to like, hey, like, this is what the timer we're doing. These are some of the rules. That's easy to kind of explain. It is not easy to find a venue. So if you're a player in a league and you think you have a connection, even if it's just a lead, like, hey, I know so and so who works at this place, give them a contact. Like reach, or like, would you think your organization would be willing to have us here, whatever it is? 'Cause that's how like we find new spaces, and how it gets to grow and the sport gets to grow.
yeah, no, finding a new venue is rough for sure. All right, next question for anyone who doesn't know: how can you explain what semi-pro is? How can people join?
Sure. So semi-pro is a monthly tournament. It kind of emulates professional sports. So what happens is you join as a core. Say for example, it's 2 males and 2 females, um, or at max 2 men. Um, and how it works basically is that's your team for the year. That's your core 4, you could say. And then one person is a captain. They get a designer jersey. They are in control of the roster, so trades, cuts, all that. They'll do an initial draft, and then from there, every once a month, it's the third Saturday every month. You play um, the 8 other franchises. So we're trying to hit 9 this year. We are not doing the court this year. We're playing on the deck hockey to try to help eliminate wall ball. We're going to be doing that no matter what. It's just a matter of the amount of courts we'll rent from them. But basically, you're going to play, say there's 7 teams in the league. You'll probably play each team once. And then you go into the playoff format, and that's it. And the winner gets to keep the belt for the year. Oh, do I have it?
Oh,
I definitely have it.
wait, which belt do you have?
The original.
Oh man, that's a pregnancy belt.
Yeah. Why it's under my bed. So the winner of every tournament, it's blurry. I'm not turning my motion blur off because it'll take forever. But you get a belt to keep for the month. We do a player of the tournament. You get medals.
Show the
Um,
back.
the back of all the pictures of us.
Yep.
There's a lot of them on this one, but you got to add a sticker to the back. There's there's only 5 stickers on here. We never put all 7 of them on here, but there's 4 of them of us. But we're missing one more of us on it because we were on 5 out of the
The
7.
last one, yeah, in October.
Yeah, and that the winner gets to keep the belt at the end of the year. It's a super cool format. It gives you a chance to come in with a core and an opportunity to play with people you don't know. And it's also a pretty balanced approach. How it works is based on like elo and your performance determines picks for the next tournament, and like you have control basically of who you get if you had the first overall pick. Like you could tell somebody to sign up, and no one can really stop you, um, which is nice, I guess, because it kind of helps those bad teams get better.
We tank this year or no?
I mean, I got accused of tanking last year, like because what I was in Amsterdam with Jeff, and I remember Noah texting me mid tournament saying this is going rough, and I was like, whatever, like we're probably, we probably are 2-2 right now, and it's just like this is going rough, and he's just like not having a good time. And I remember getting a text after the tournament, like, "Did you do that on purpose?" And I was like, "What? Like, what is going on?" And I remember looking afterwards the next day or whatever it was, and saw that we like didn't make playoffs, and we had the worst record, and I was like, "Oh." And then John Gatlin was in the pool, and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna take John." Like, and at that point, I knew I was out for May too, so I was like, "Whatever." Like, I'm not here. Like, and then when I came back, it was like, "Oh, you tanked for John. It was a whole plan all along." And I was like, "Not really, but
76ers. And then that group
yeah."
message
Well,
was wild.
it was definitely a while. Like the first year was pretty calm. You do get to be a part of a very interesting group message depending on the captains. Um, this year the captains are not. Uh,
Wait, hold on. Let me pull up the franchises that I know because I don't know if I would
I
agree
don't.
with
You
you
might
here.
know more than I do, but I do not think like Jordan's not a captain this year.
No, I
That
know
alone,
that.
that alone makes it that like that chat is not going to be as wild. Um,
Uh, where did I send this? I think I sent this in my franchise actually. Hold on, let me pull this one up. Do you have a
but yeah,
franchise yet this year?
I don't know if I'm going to go as a franchise or not. I'm waiting to see how many tournaments I'm going to miss before I commit to a franchise 100%. I've had a couple offers. I've kind of like tried to weigh them out, and then that's led to me missing out on opportunities
You should just don't sign up, but just be in the draft pool, and I'll probably get the
after
first
the
pick
first
again this
tournament,
year.
and then yeah, see who gets the
No,
first
no, no,
pick.
no. I'll probably get the
Oh,
first
oh
pick
yeah,
overall
yeah,
again
yeah,
because it's happened 2 years in a row.
yeah, yeah. People gonna start saying rigging it. But yeah, no, semi-pro is basically like a pretty high in depth tournament series, which is super nice. I think it's fun. It's a good weekend tournament. We try to fill it around other tournaments when we announce our dates. We check on Dodgeball Hub and we announce in January when our dates are. So if we have double booked with one of you guys or another league or another organization, it's definitely not intentional. We try our best to like avoid that, but our tournaments are booked before January and announced on January 1st. So realistically, like our last semi-pro when that ended, we already started to talk to the venues for the next semi-pro, and kind of like planned out the dates. Um, and then the menus give us some time. Sometimes they'll lock us in. Sometimes they make us wait. Normally, like the March, April ones, they'll make us wait till it gets closer. Same thing with May. But then the rest of the year, like if our tournaments are booked already, it's probably because we had it announced before and another tournament was announced. Like, there's always speculation of what weekends are what, but like we've known, a semi-pro was announced in, I think it was announced Secret Santa. So it was announced December 8th this year. All our venues are booked by then. Um, and we checked Dodgeball Hub. So like, if something's the same weekend as that, we definitely do our best to try to like be the ones to be a little bit more flexible. Um,
It's almost
but
impossible
but
because
it's
we're trying to.
also so hard to like if we're booking. almost a year in advance to some of these venues, it's hard for us to back out of a contract we signed with them just because another organization posted like had something. And the venue can be flexible to an extent with us, but if it's not available, it like screws us. Like we're definitely not doing it on purpose. We're definitely not trying to like compete with certain people. Our tournaments are almost always the third Saturday of the month from March to October. And then we run Secret Santa, which is the first Saturday of the month. We run Midnight Madness, which is Super Bowl Saturday every year. And the reason we haven't really ran more tournaments is because it's so hard to find a free time in between, without overloading and running like a tournament every month on Long Island. We're like, what's going on? Um, but like we definitely have like talked about running draft tournaments and stuff. That's like stuff we want to do. But we also don't want to like not compete with other organizations or other tournaments on the East Coast. But we want to be able to like send people there. Like our players like traveling to these tournaments. We like having people come to our tournaments. So we want to kind of like try that find that easy even balance,
No, that's
which
fair.
is a
I mean,
pain.
for Connecticut dodgeball, we would like to eventually host a tournament, and I have a spreadsheet. I'm trying to figure out like, okay, what month would it even be possible? Like, let me check with our venue, and
Yeah.
there is a shit ton.
Between the venue and then Dodgeball Hub's a good resource to check everything. If you're not on Dodgeball Hub with your organization, try to put all your events on Dodgeball Hub to make it easier because a lot of organizations use that to book. And then what we'll do is like starting in like October or November when we were getting ready for Summer Pro the next year, like we'll literally sit there and make a spreadsheet of like what tournaments are where, that's announced. And we loosely plan it because we kind of wait for USA Dodgeball to release. But our dates are so we booked our dates in November of this year for this year's semi-pro, and then we were like, okay, um, Minnesota is this weekend. Let's see if we could change it. Or okay, this is going to be this weekend. Let's see if we could change it. Um, and that's kind of like what shaped our tournament structure, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. All right, so franchises that I know of so far: Matt, Robbie, Alexa, Morgan, Dylan, Jacob, Megan, Jackie, myself, Jackson, Meredith, Brenda, Andrew Kim, Sam Jones, Ashley Elder, Sarah Wood, Angel,
Stacked.
Angel, Alan, Rachel, and I believe Taylor was the other one.
Yeah, Taylor was the other one. So that's five.
And then I know Derek and Sierra are working on one. And I think that, sorry, Derek, I haven't texted you back. He texted me today about it, but I think he said that he signed up today. So maybe it's on the website,
Yeah.
but
There's also, I'm pretty sure Kevin Kimmick, Cafe Conran, is making a team with Andrew Dooling, who's a big tall guy who throws really hard. That's at least what I don't know like the full franchise, but I'm pretty sure that is a team. I Derek is making one with Sierra.
Mhm.
Um, I haven't answered him on if I'm playing with them yet. We kind of like talked about kind of combining the little groups we had. Like he had him and Sierra, I had me and somebody else. I was like, oh, like, do we want to just combine and make a franchise? The whole reason I don't want to make a franchise necessarily is because I don't want a situation like last year where I can't like I knew I was missing the first two, and then captain wise, I ended up like I played in one and I ended up getting hurt. Or I played in two and then I got hurt. Um, so like I don't want to like do that to a team again. Which is the whole reason why I haven't like committed to a team. Like it's nothing personal to anybody who's asked me. Or like Noah asked me to run it back with him and Alyssa. And I was like, well, maybe, but like also like he just doesn't want to captain the team. Like he just wants me to do all the heavy lifting of the captaining of the team, and he just come and play, but have a core. Which I don't blame you. It definitely is a lot of work for summer pro captains to do it. Um, but like it's I don't know. To me, it's worth it if you have the right headspace or like you don't mind. It's not the chat was wild. I don't think it's gonna be as wild this year. I think it'll be much more structured. I've also now ran semi-pro volleyball as well, and I've helped run semi-pro kickball. So now I've ran like 4 or 5 different semi-pros. Brett wasn't even in the chat last year. If Brett's running it again this year, he'll be in the chat to kind of help moderate it a little bit more.
No, we're gonna have a chat moderator.
Not a moderator, but just
Come
like
on,
he's
Brett.
not going to stop us, but like just like a hey guys, the draft is this time at this day. Like this is
Oh,
what we're gonna be doing.
okay. We could still be sending
Um,
the stuff we've been sending.
Brett's not going to stop us. Sal was in the chat, and Sal was laughing at. There'd be times I come into the office and Sal would be like, "Did you see what Ryan sent in the chat yesterday? Like, isn't it funny?"
Not even
I'm
yo,
like,
not even just me. Don't call me out like
"No, but
that.
you would send stuff that's like pretty PG. Like, there'd be other stuff,
Well, compared to
and
others, yeah, for sure.
yeah, there'd be other stuff, and it would just be like, what is going on in this chat? Like, poor Brenda in this chat. Shout out Brenda
Yes,
for sticking through
dude.
semi-pro for a whole year, and dealing with all of us
It
because like
was myself, it was Dylan, it was Randy, it was Jordan. Like that
it
group
was
chat was
Nikki,
wild. Yes,
yeah,
Nikki. Oh my
Nikki,
God.
me, Bo. Um, yeah, it was a fun chat. It was definitely me and Sal laughed because volleyball was like super quiet. There'd be a little bit of trash talking, but nothing crazy. Um, and that was it. Like they'd go do their meeting. They'll before the meeting they'll talk. They'll do a meeting. If they have a couple questions about semi-pro, they'll ask it. Leading up to semi-pro, they'll talk some shit. They'll take some players to the supplemental draft, and then that'll be it. It'll be quiet. It'll be like, oh, congrats to the winners. Some like subtle jabs at each other, and then just quiet until the next time I text. Our chat was blowing up every day. I feel like with something random, like if something would come on, it would just be like, bam, like or like Jordan out of nowhere would be like, yeah, I'm kind of bored at work today. So what do you guys think about? And it'd be like explicit, 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 beep, beep, beep. Like can't repeat this on Ryan's bromance podcast, but like
No.
we'd be like, oh,
I would just
okay,
send the Halliburton hot dog meme.
yeah. That was wild, but it was also a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I
It was
agree.
like toxic in a good way.
Yeah, for sure. All in good fun. All right, next question. What's going to be different from last year's semi-pro to this year's?
Yeah. So, I mean, the big thing is moving off the courts to remove wall ball. The D League's coming back. So, if you don't know, the D League's a 4v4 tournament before semi pro. That's going to be played on the court still, just because it's a little bit cheaper. And it's the wall ball isn't as affected like with 4v4 and five balls. Like, I mean, it is, but it'll also allow us to kind of like test some things. The D League, kind of like the NBA's D League or like the Atlantic League, the independent league baseball leagues where we kind of test some new stuff. Nothing's really going to change. We're going to be using USA's rule set. So any USA rule that's changed is what we're going to be using. Um, no more wall ball, which is nice. We'll be playing on the hockey rink. We have nets. So we
Can I
should have
bring a banner?
yeah, if you want to bring a banner and draft a eighth and ninth player to sit there and walk like crabs and block balls back and forth, I'm for it.
Okay.
It's a new level of shagging. You're gonna find out the next thing you know, like Caden's gonna be drafted, and you'll be like, Caden, hold, stay, like
Yeah.
easy. But yeah, so that's the biggest one. And then equally as big is partnering with Bromance. Right? Like I'd say so. It's been pretty much under wraps. If you've been a part of Summer Pro last year, you kind of got notified about it. But we're gonna be doing like a pregame show. I would like to we're probably gonna be doing some live stuff and then a post-game show. Ryan's done a great job in the past with Bromance and getting some players from semi-pro on. So it just makes sense to kind of form a partnership with it when he's been doing so much work for it and make it official. Because I think your work should kind of be acknowledged and like to make you an official partner, just it makes sense. I personally plan on streaming one court is going to be my goal. The setup will allow for a decent streaming setup. I want commentators at a couple tournaments. I think we're not fully there yet because we have to see now we're in a new area and like how that setup would look.
Add that and in the back, it's I think extremely doable
Yeah,
because
but
of the
once we can get used
bleachers.
to, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, the bleachers are there and everything. So like that would be nice. I think it would be a nice setup to kind of emulate and mimic. But yeah, definitely the partner with Bromance and like the possibility to do a lot of stuff. I think you do a lot of stuff really good on your end. Um, so if we can kind of incorporate the stuff you do with Bromance or stuff you've done with tournaments you've been at into semi-pro, it's going to make us a little bit more legit. At the very least, I'm going to be recording games. We might not be live, but we'll be recording, and we're going to be uploading them onto YouTube. So
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, I mean, last year for one of the Connecticut tournaments, I streamed the numbers like there was I think collectively. Okay, so to be fair, there was like three parts of the stream because for whatever reason, one part of the stream cut out, and then we did a second stream, and then there was another issue, so we ended up doing the third stream. But collectively, between all three of the streams, it was like 700 plus views and 200 watch hours. Like it was a fuck ton.
yeah,
So I mean, I have no problem doing that. I set up a Google Sheet form, and it was like, okay, cohort two, we are gonna have two people just sign up. So
Yeah.
8 o'clock to 8:15, like two people here, two people here. So I would love to do that again at semi
Yeah, I
pro.
mean, if you're down to help handle and facilitate a lot of that, I think that's a big reason. Like, right, the partnership is gonna be cool. Like, I think it's definitely gonna be fun to do like live pregame, post game shows, and like, or like what to look out for or watch. Like, I know a lot of time we bring people on. Um, we'll get Brett some spotlight time
Yeah,
since he'll be like the tournament director if he's running it back. Um,
I'm gonna
have
wake
him
up the
give
next morning from and get an email from like YouTube, and it's gonna be like, you have a strike. I'm like, fuck,
yeah,
Jordan.
yeah. It's like, oh shit, this guy can't be commentating anymore. And you just look in your next tournament, it's just like Jordan every time slot. He's like, yeah, I'm actually gonna sit this one out so I can commentate.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and but it'll be good. I'm excited for it. I think it helps legitimize semi-pro a little bit more. Between the wall ball and then just getting us more views and the attention. It's a really good model. I'm more than willing to like talk to any league organizer who's like interested in it. Because you could definitely do this at a local level. Our player base, I think last year was almost 50-50 between players from in-state and out of state. But that's a huge shout out to Connecticut who comes down a lot. We've had people from 10 different states come out and play semi-pro, which is pretty cool. Um, so anything to keep building on that. Like that's kind of to me, that's like my next my like passion project of continuing dodgeball on Long Island. Like the league runs itself, it does a really good job. We got a lot of new players in, and they're still staying to play. But like getting players into semi-pro and just elevating that experience. It just allows for more competitive tournaments on the East Coast without like the hardcore commitment of a flight for people who can't afford it or can't make that time for it.
And there's a lot of high end talent too. Like last year, there was Dylan, there was Quan, there was Taylor, there was Zach Fernald.
I think we had 13 people who made a practice squad at semi-pro last year. Or I think when it announced that June tournament, I think it was 13 players who had made a practice squad,
Hmm.
men's, women's, foam cloth, whatever it was.
Yeah, Ashley, Jesse, Sarah, like there's
Yeah.
literally a laundry list. So it's an awesome place. It's a good place to. I wouldn't say it's essential, but people coming down from Boston and Connecticut, going down to Long Island, people
Getting to
coming
Long
up.
Island sucks. Like I understand people not wanting to come because of going over the bridges and the traffic. But we do it all the time. Like before Long Island was able to hold tournaments, we had people from Long Island were always traveling, and we still travel pretty well. It's something like I take pride in with our community is how well we travel and show up to things. Chances are, if we're not running a tournament, if anywhere on the Northeast is running a tournament, we're sending at least a car. So
I think it was well worth it. Me personally, I feel like I developed a lot last year, and I feel like I took that next step because I got to play against really good players. Where I would say the first time I pro was more like local. This last year was more like you said 50-50, and you wouldn't play a team and be like, all right, 5-0 or 5-1, whatever.
yeah,
Every single team had a player. Every single
yeah,
team
I
had a really
agree.
good player. All right, next question. What's the March 14th semi pro preseason tournament and what's the format?
Um, Pass. We're having venue issues again with this tournament, so it's why I didn't run last year. Um, Basically what would happen, which we'll have an email out probably within the week if it's going to happen or not. What would happen is it's going to be mix and match style. So basically, how we run our mix and matches is you get a playing card with your name on it, and we shuffle the deck and we just make random teams every game. So it'd be a lot of games like that. You probably play 4 or 5 games. It gives captains a chance to see players who have played. It's an optional tournament; it's not mandatory. It gives captains a chance to see players who like they might not know of because I think a problem with the first year was there were so many names that people didn't know in semi-pro. So like it'd be like, oh, I know this guy, so I could draft him. Um, but like other people might not know them, so you might have been able to get them in like the third round when realistically they're first round talent. So it kind of gets like people's names out there. Last year, I think there was like 15 players in the player pool year round who didn't get drafted. So like it gives them a chance to like kind of showcase their skill without like committing to like a D League tournament where like they might show up for 2 hours and not get drafted. And it gives just people a chance to play with different people and like understand strategies and like play styles. And then after those round robin games, we would be seeding. So 1 through 32. Our plan would be 32 people. Obviously, if we get more, we'd make it work with more. We can go to 48. It really wouldn't matter. There's really no like limit on how many people we can get into it. Um, but how that would work is then we'd pair up and do either a 1v1 or a 2v2 depending on numbers, and that would be our playoff bracket. So your playoff bracket would not be like 6 on 6; it would be like 1v1 or 2v2. And then the original plan was for 1v1, and the winning person would get to take home the semi-pro belt for the first time. Um,
So what 2v2 would it be like if there's 32 seeds, would it be like the 1 and 32 seed
yeah,
versus 2 and 31?
yep, yeah. We would just do a straight
I like
like
that.
single limb, top versus bottom. We talked about like splitting the brackets and having like an A bracket and B bracket, but I think we would just go straight into a 1v32 type situation.
I'm gonna tank on purpose. I'm gonna be the worst player in that gym.
And you're gonna sandbag, and then you're gonna get like someone random in the like first round. You're like, what? Like, right? It's like dodgeball Toronto's kickoff. A sandbagging situation happened, and it was just to play outsiders the round later. Like, it's gonna be like your situation. You get like round one, you'll have an easy matchup, and then like round two, you're gonna get like the one seed or something.
No, no, no. Like if it's 2v2, it'd be like me and the best player, right? Like the best and the worst player
Um.
against the 2 and the 31, or no?
Oh, yeah. I
So
see
it'd
what
be
you're
like
saying
me
now.
and Dylan against like I don't know,
Oh,
Juan and the
yeah.
31st best player.
Yeah. We didn't really talk about how we do that, but I would assume one versus 32, two versus 32 and 31. Like, yeah. I guess when you put it that way. But the one, for all you know, you might not mess it up, and the one seed might be like, I don't know, like someone you've never heard of who just happened to go 5-0 because they
Someone,
played on a free agent team, like or they like because like that's the thing with the mix and match. In theory, like if you win a point 5-0, you get 5 points. If you're on four different teams that go 5-0, you'd have 20 points. But realistically, like you could have been the fifth best player on your team.
mhm.
But like next thing there's people signed up for semi-pro who've never played dodgeball before.
I was
Um,
looking at the list earlier.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who are volleyball players that like kick, and they played a mix and match that like kick. They're like, you know what? Let's sign up for summer pro,
Yeah, no, sounds
and
fun. I mean,
because
if there's
it's
gonna be
either
all
the
these
day of the week or
franchises, then there's gonna need to be players in the draft pool.
yeah, I agree. I think it's good. Like it helps our numbers. The fact that we're getting new people in is always good too. Obviously, like talent wise, like the talent will come. Like whether it's word of mouth or like as you're signing up and stuff. Um, but like you said, we have six solid franchises definitely. Um, our number's probably going to be 7 or 8. Probably we'll have 2 courts on the hockey rink. Definitely. If we hit 9, we'll definitely do 3 courts. Even if we hit 8, we might do 3 courts. It just comes down to like the roughing assignments and all that. But we're definitely going to do the hockey rink. So
Yeah, no, sounds fun. I'm excited.
yeah, and then the showdown, the opener, we'll find out. You'll have more information this week sometime because I don't really. We're talking about it today, like venues and trying to get it to work with different venues and asking because we don't want to cancel it again like last year, but we canceled it last year because the venues canceled on us. So we're in a similar situation where a venue double booked us from one of them, another one, like we're not really sure. So we're working on it though.
All right, guys, that is it for part 1. I'll be posting part 2 sometime next week. Peace.